Hello, everybody. My name is Dominik. I'm the CTO of XTRF Management Systems. It's 1 minute past 4, so it's definitely time for us to start. Please relax yourself. We'll have this nice background music with us, and now we'll talk and discuss a little bit about a very crucial subject and our question: to cloud or not to cloud? So when it makes sense to use cloud solution in your company, and when it's better to stay with on-premise solutions. We will discuss benefits, risks of using IT system that is vital for the company, like any TMS for translation management system company, when it's not hosted by your own on your infrastructure. So first of all, let's define software delivery models. We have 3 basic areas that construct the environment in which your application runs. First of all, at the hardware level and internet connection. On the hardware, you need operating system, some commodity software like database storage that enables application to run. With the traditional model with no additional service, you fully control all the elements of the stacks. Anyhow, when a system evolves, you may decide to use a data center. This model is named infrastructure as a service. So you get hardware, sometimes virtualized hardware, and you not host this by your own, but rather in a data center. Another model is platform as a service. You get not only the hardware, but also some basic elements from your vendor, like operating system, database, storage. Anyhow, the application itself is still under your control. So your IT staff is responsible for application installation and maintenance. And the most mature model is software as a service. So basically, the entire stack, hardware, internet, operating system, storage, and the application is controlled by the vendor. You can use 2 perspectives when watching this stack. Your perspective is that you may have everything on site, but at the moment you start using infrastructure as a service or more advanced models, you are on the cloud. So your solution is cloud-based. From the software vendor perspective, it really doesn't matter whether you are using your own hardware or use infrastructure as a service or even platform as a service model. From the software vendor perspective, cloud solution is the one when the entire software is hosted on the cloud basis. So in my discussion, I will use the second perspective. So always when I will tell about cloud-based solution, I will address the software as a service. Because from the software vendor perspective, it's all about responsibility. And 2 basic differences. On cloud-based software, vendor is responsible not only for the software itself, but also for the entire stack. The software, the servers, operating systems, security, internet connection. With on-site software, it is rather your or company that obtained the system responsibility that the software is run in the correct way. So we'll be talking about following aspects. First of all, the legal aspect. It is definitely different aspect when you use on-site software and cloud-based software. Business continuity, IT security, deployment and management challenges, as far as finance. And of course, the finance as a cherry of the top on this discussion. So in all these aspects, with on-site software, the responsibility is fully on you. With cloud-based, there are lots of responsibility on your cloud provider. Let's get into details. Legal aspects. We have two basic models, licensing and service provisioning. Licensing is that a software vendor grants you a license so you can use the software, install it, run, make available for your partners on your own hardware. Of course, there are maybe some limits in number of instances you may run, in number of users that can access the system, but basically you are giving a license to use the software as you wish. With service provisioning, I mean all these cloud-based strategies, you are not giving any license. You are only provided with a service and you pay for accessing the service, not for a license. So it's the crucial license difference when you compare licensing and software as a service model. With software as a service model and data on the cloud, you put your data to the data center under the control of the cloud operator. Usually, this data are stored in a very high secure data center with very advanced security access policies that normally cannot be met by your own IT department. I mean, all these legal aspects and also certification as far as procedures. I think that all the data centers are currently ISO certified, and also XTRF uses data center that is certified, and XTRF is also ISO certified. So you may use these vendor certificates and policies as your company advantages when you try to get a new contract on that, win a tender. It is also important to know that as a user of the cloud platform, you are responsible for your own users. So both the materials you are storing there have to be under your control, and you are responsible for the way your own users are accessing the system. And of course, the same is when you have your own data center using the system. Okay. The other important aspect is business continuity. I think that it's time to ask yourself, what would you do when the system is not working? So what are the actions that you take when your system is not working correctly? And how do you know that the system is not working correctly? So from our experience, when you have your own software hosted in your own data center or under your table, usually you are informed by your client, by your vendor, by your staff, or you simply cannot log into the system, and that's how we know that something is wrong. And of course, the question is, what do you do? You may try to call your IT guy, IT department, if you have IT department. But in many cases, when the problem is complex, the time required for the problem to be fixed is few hours, sometimes days. With the cloud infrastructure, the situation is completely different. With cloud, if something is not working, you call a hotline or send an email that there is a problem with the cloud infrastructure. But basically, you used to know that there is a problem because all the clouds are monitored. So the monitoring system knows that something is happening before users can detect the problem. On XTRF Cloud, we are using advanced monitoring solutions and also advanced logic systems that can automatically react in the situation of the system failure. So, for example, if there is a hardware failure, the system is automatically started on another server. So the delay or system unavailability is like 2 or 3 minutes in case of serious hardware failure. Think how long does it take your own IT department to get a new server and restart the system on a new infrastructure. It's definitely not a matter of minutes. So you should ask 2 questions to your IT guys when they will be insisted to run the new software in on-premise model, not on cloud. First of all, do you monitor the new software and how do you would like to do it? And the second question, in case of failure, who should be informed and what are the worst case scenarios? How long you will be without the system, without the access to the system. Okay. Another important term that you should know and understand before deciding which way to go is SLA, Service Level Agreement. So the agreement between 2 parties about the quality of the service that you buy. There are 3 aspects of this SLA. First of all, you need to know, first of all, it can be defined against average speed to answer or first call resolution, all the elements that are related to help desk operation stuff. Another can be related to availability. So the time that your operator guarantees that your server will be available. And now you can analyze the table that I presented here. We have so-called nines. So we can guarantee 2 nines, 3 nines, and even 5 nines. So it's a percentage of time that the system is available. And when you calculate it through the time that the system operates, 5 nines means that is more than less than 1 second of system unavailability in a day. Or when you have 5 9 guaranteed, it means that system is not available for 5 minutes in a year. It's amazing infrastructure that can guarantee this kind of availability. I think that cannot say that our IT departments, even with the company of size of 100 persons, can guarantee this kind of availability. We are very proud in XTRF because XTRF Cloud in last quarter was available at average on the level of 3 nines and 5. So the average downtime was 20 minutes a month. 20 minutes a month, including the time required for system updates. That's very, very high availability. So, control questions for your IT department. What's your historical availability for the system? And what SLA can they guarantee? And if they cannot answer this question, ask them the other question. What would be the cost of IT department to provide this level of availability? We are hiring a lot of specialists that monitor and guarantee this availability in XTRF Cloud. Moreover, we're also using data center and do not build our own servers room because we know that our data centers partners can do it much better than we. That's why we decided to host our partner to use our partner data center because of the quality they can guarantee for us. Okay. Another important aspect when we discussing business continuity is disaster recovery and backups. So disaster recovery involves a set of policies and procedures that enable to recover or continuation of the vital technology, infrastructure, and system following a nature of human-induced disaster. The question here is, what would you do in the case of real disaster? I mean a fire in your office. I guess that you are making regular backups, but the question is, where do store these backups? If they are stored in the same location when the server they are not very secure. XTRF stores backup copy in a different country. So even in a very serious situation, like complete destroy of data center, we still will have an access to our to all the data backups. The other challenge of IT departments, I mean small IT departments, is that the backups are not done regularly. So ask your IT guys, how frequently are the backups done and where are they stored? And very funny question, but lots of IT departments really do backups, but they never try to restore data from these backups. And it sometimes happens that we have backups, but nobody can get that data out of these backups. So the good question is, when last was the restore procedure tested? With XTRF, we are testing this really very often. Another important aspect that we should consider when discussing IT, when discussing cloud-based solution, is IT security. Of course, computer security is a broad topic. It's about protection of computer system from theft or damage of the hardware, software, information, disruption of the service they provide. But there are three basic aspects. First of all, physical access. I'll mention that professional data centers are really very highly secured and nobody can really access this. Even we in XTRF never saw and touched our servers. So basically, they are really, really secured. And there is no need for us to access them physically. The other aspect is network security and access. So how do you know that you are the only accessor of your data? Your network, your internal company network is connected to internet. There may be thousands of different ways to access this network and get to your own data, even without you knowing about this. I think that the situation for the last few days that one bad virus access computers and encrypted files on the local file system shows that, you know, it's very, very probable that also your network sometimes can be penetrated by strange internet users. With cloud solution, there are systems called intrusion detection systems. And of course, we have one in XTRF infrastructure. Intrusion detection system is kind of system that monitor the activity in the local network. And in any cases, some strange, it can automatically react. And in the situation when one process accesses too many files in a given period of time, could be easily detected. So on XTRF's infrastructure, if this virus would attack us, we probably detect the situation after first 100 files would be encrypted, and then will completely block this process from executing and encrypting the other files. Intrusion detection system is a very wise piece of software that is used by professional service providers. And the question for your IT, do we have intrusion detection system? If yes, can you show me the security incident report for the last quarter? What happened? Were we under the attack or not? And the other nice question is about two-factor authentication. So it's when an administrator accesses the computer system, it should use not only login and password, but also some additional credentials. It's called two-factor authentication. So the question for administrator is, do we have this system on board? And especially when administrator rights are granted. Okay. Anyhow, the big advantage of cloud-based solution is flexibility, because cloud-based solution can grow and shrink with your organization. If you have a project that is going to start next week and you will require 3 or 4 new project managers to access the project and be hired for 2 or 3 months only for this particular project, with the cloud solution it's relatively simple. You ask for a few new licenses for this period of time, and after the project is ended, you get the license back to the cloud. When you have your own infrastructure, it's not only about the licenses, it's also about the entire infrastructure that your IT department needs to provide for the system to run smoothly. So again, few control questions for your IT department. Can we reduce our IT cost if we have few users? Sometimes we need to shrink. And when we grow, can we increase the number of user projects? If yes, what is the cost of additional user? What is the cost of the hardware you need to buy to make this user operate smoothly? Of course, there are different daily usage scenarios and aspects that have to be compared. Speed, responsiveness, file operation, multi-office usage, external users, remote and home access. In many cases, SaaS solutions are better. For example, when you consider home and remote access, it's easier to access cloud than to access on-premise installation. When we consider files and you have only one office location, probably file access to the local file system will be faster with on-premise installation. And SaaS, you're also always accessing the remote file in the data center, so it will be a little bit slower. Responsiveness. With current possibilities of browsers with caching mechanism, it's usually similar. But when we compare external users, again, it's easier for an external user to access cloud than your own on-premise installation. Speed. Cloud solutions are using hardware that can automatically adapt and provide the speed required for the software to run in an optimal way. Having on-premise installation, always use the same hardware, so sometimes the speed is not enough. With multi-office location, so when your company is split to different locations, the situation is very comparable, because for remote office, it really will be the same situation when accessing on-premise installation in your own data center or accessing cloud solution. Okay, so control question for your IT is that can they provide similar or better availability than cloud solution? I mean PayPal, Amazon, Google, or XTRF Cloud. Okay, and most important aspect, finance. Here in this table, I compared on-site installation, premise installation, and cloud-based installation. So I get XTRF professional licenses that cost 1,650. Okay, and assume that you are to buy tail ICs, that makes the amount of 16,500 euro, and cloud-based installation with the pricing as shown here. Cost comparison, first year, of course, on-site installation will be higher, and the second and third year on-site installation, you pay nothing. With cloud, each year you pay the same amount. Anyhow, all these tables are invalid, and we should never make such a simple comparison because we've forgotten about multiple additional costs that are involved in on-site installation. I tried to imagine the right comparison, and it's like when you buy a car. If you would like to buy a car, so of course you have a price for a car, and you can compare this with riding a taxi or using a taxi. And of course, when you buy a car and compare to taxi, it may turn very quickly that taxi is more expensive. But you can never compare the pure price of the car. You need to add some additional elements like policy cost, maintenance cost, and of course, fuel. All of these costs are not here. So let's consider what are the hidden costs of on-site installation. First of all, most of the on-site installation software vendors require you to buy a support. So the support fee is usually between 20 and 30%. XTRF uses 24% support fee. So each year you have additional amount to be paid for the software to run for you. Another aspect is the server. Okay, you can decide between two different aspects. First, you may buy a server. Okay, 2,050 euro, 2,500 euro is a very reasonable price for a server. I would rather guess that you will pay more. If you have your own server, don't forget about power consumption of the server. I think 30 euro a month is really low rate. Or you can rent a server in the data center, and again, minimum price is more than 100 euro a month. Initial configuration, again, on-site installation required your IT staff to configure the system, install everything, check, validate performance. Yeah, I think that 40 hours is again very minimal amount of time your IT department need to spend for this. With the regular gross cost of 1 hour of IT specialist set to 40 euro, it makes amount of 1,600 euro. Maintenance cost. The software runs but required maintenance. We're discussing crucial IT software here. So 2 days, I mean 16 hours a month for IT guy that will watch the system, provide updates. It's definitely very minimal rate. There are other hidden costs or aspects that you required from your cloud installation, but usually are not available with on-site installation. First of all, 24/7 monitoring and response. On cloud, well, we're expecting this kind of service. With on-site installations, usually your own IT department is not able to provide such a service. Intrusion detection system will already cover, again, it is available only on data, on cloud. So your IT department can have problems providing this service. Hardware replacement and disaster recovery in 1 hour, again, problem. ISO certification, high security procedures, it's something that is by default in the cloud. On-site installation, not supported. Okay, so what's the final finance table. I included all these elements and provide you with total cost of ownership table. So you have sums of the cost or spending in first year, 2 years, 3 years, and so on, up to 10 years. And when we added up all these amounts, we end up in very similar spending in 10-year time. I assumed also that your IT wanted a new server around 5th year. So basically you are talking about similar spending. But I think that we should also consider what also may happen during this 10 years time. First of all, when on-site installation, you may face 2 serious hardware failures. I think that 2 serious failures during the 10 years time period is something that definitely may happen. So your system was not available for 3 days. You also lost one contract because your infrastructure was not scalable enough. So you simply were not able to handle the requirements of adding 4 new people to your staff just for one project. And you had also very hard time when your IT guru changed job. To find a guy that will let your IT infrastructure as a big challenge. Contrary on cloud-based infrastructure. Of course, there were problems. 2 SLA were breached and the system was not available for you for 2 hours. Anyhow, you managed to win one contract because you supported your offer with ISO certification of your cloud-based provider. So, okay, I haven't included a few elements here. So the interest rate on initial investment, you could invest the difference or at least put it to the bank. The benefits from OPEX and CAPEX differences on these amounts and the lower risk. So on cloud, you can always say that you don't want to continue the cloud usage. With on-site installation, it's much more difficult. Flexibility, adaptability, SLA also are very difficult to price, so they are not included in this table. And how, even without it, we can easily see what is much more interesting and what, from financial perspective, should be selected. Summary. On-site installation gives you full control, but on its price. Significant spending on IT ensures the software smooth operation, but the spendings are really significant and cannot be forgotten during the comparison. Mature IT process required to ensure stability and security. So you need to have really good guys that can provide you with the internal service on the quality you expected. On cloud, definitely cheaper, flexible, both from financial perspective, number of users, also from hardware perspective. Gives you high availability, much more higher security, because you benefit from the economy of scale, and also data are protected much better. There is the last aspect, your IT staff that are very good specialists. So think about concentrate their attention on more business value-oriented tasks, not maintaining the software that can be maintained by somebody else. So the last control question for your IT would be, what business value-oriented task can you support in a free time gained by moving to a cloud? Okay, let's summarize the comparison of these 2 models. I'm open for your question and leave you with the decision whether to cloud or not to cloud. Thank you for attention. Okay, Bartek, do you have any? Okay. I look for question.
It's a question from Louis.
Okay, Louis asked us a question. Okay, just a moment. We need to get to this question. In a case of startups, what is the minimum fee one expects to pay for each cloud fee? Example, 1 or 2 users only. Okay, if I understand you well, it's of course depend on the cloud offer. With XTRF, our prices are definitely low, so it will be like 119 per license in the professional model, but the lower you are with the number of licenses, the lower fare you pay in on-cloud installation. But from on-premise perspective, definitely the costs are higher. So when you are considering whether to go cloud or not cloud, the smaller you are, the more on cloud you should be. With the biggest organization, the choice is not that obvious, but for a startup, definitely the way to go, especially that you are in the phase of validating your business model. So basically, you don't want to have high upfront investment. Okay, Bartek, do you have another question?
There's a question about the presentation of our central.
Yes. Are you sending a link for presentation at the end of the webinar? Yes, we can provide you with the presentation as far as recording.
And there is also thanks for presentation from Sancho.
Okay, thank you, Sancho, for your thank you. Yeah, so we don't have more questions. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the evening and see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.